But
true.
all right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our final conversation. Now, there's still much ado about the controversy surrounding the conduct of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. Now, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has announced a fresh round of mop-up examination to accommodate over 5.6% of candidates who missed the just concluded UTME. At a meeting in Abuja, the Registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishaku, stated that the initiative will cover all affected candidates, regardless of the reason for their absence. Professor Oloyede, who addressed growing criticism and conspiracy theories about the examination process, rejected claims of ethnic bias or administrative incompetence. Now let's share the story by TVC News' Miriam Mohammed with you.
At a strategic meeting with JAMB's chief external examiners, Registrar Ishak Oloyede expressed appreciation for the media support while providing clarity on recent controversies surrounding the 2025 UTME reset. He also addressed the emotional moment during the previous press conference, explaining it was unplanned and was not a sign of weakness.
Once JAMB conducts its UTME late April, from May, WASC starts. And it goes on till, that's SSCE for WAEC. And immediately, NECO starts till July. Immediately, NAPTEP follows. This same set of students are the one taking all these examinations. So we are conscious of our responsibility to this nation. When this happened, my first reaction is to resign and just say, but I thought people advised me that, look, the students will never forgive you because you will have abandoned at a time and everybody will say, oh, I will have been this. Even somebody that is not built to be anything would think I have contributed to his not being what he is. So I took up the responsibility. It was not easy at all.
The registrar also disclosed that JAMB has set up a counseling and emergency call center to address problems brought by candidates.
They keep on pontificating. Why will you not? Why reschedule? They are using all types of language that they are not. They don't even know the meaning of some of the languages they are using. We immediately also established counseling and emergency call center.
Oloyede dismissed conspiracy theories surrounding the reset, saying attempts to politicize and tribalize the process are harmful. He stressed that Nigeria's examination infrastructure remains one of the best in the world.
JAMB says it's not backing down from its responsibilities with over 95% turnout for the recent UTME reset, and also plans are on the way for a mop-up exams for those who missed it. Maria Mohammed, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, thank you so much, Miriam. So, JAMB has announced, fresh round of exams to accommodate those who missed the just concluded UTM, 5.6% of them. But talk to me, do you agree, with JAMB, with this move?
Absolutely, I agree with JAMB. And I think at this time, Professor Oloyede should be commended. Yeah, now there's no excuse. I mean, there's no denying the fact that what happened with the so-called technical glitch was very traumatic for this candidate. It shouldn't have happened, but it happened. Now, we appreciate Nigerians. We always cry out when something is when something goes wrong. We are very happy also that the JAMB should be commended for listening to the House Cry of Nigeria and for reviewing that UTME and for immediately taking remedial steps. So I want to say something about Oloyede. People may be thinking that it's very bad, it's very sad that there are people who are alleging that JAMB is biased against an ethnic group. It's a very terrible thing to say. Now, I don't think people know, they know the antecedents of the man that ate JAMB. Now, before he came on board in 2016, there were some things that were happening in JAMB. In fact, the former head of JAMB is facing corruption now, corruption charge now, together with 4 of his children. 10 years before Oloyede came on board, JAMB could only remit 50 million to government coffers. Within 1 year, in 2017, JAMB remitted 5 billion.
From
just in 1 year. Now, you heard of the mysterious snake swallowing 36 million.
We're still looking for that.
Now, that, that happened under the watch of the man who was there before. You know, they were selling scratch cards. If you remember, scratch cards to access, to register and to access.
Yeah, your results.
So, and then when this man came on board, they said, no, we are going to cancel this scratch card system. Then they sent auditors to the state offices. This happened in Benue. When they got there, they said, madam, you cannot account for 36 million. Where the 36 million? Where has it gone? Say snake swallowed. And the woman was disciplined. And I think handed over to the authorities. Now, there was another one that said, look, the scratch cards, I had an accident. And the scratch cards were burnt or something like that. But it was realized that he was being fraudulent. Now, how do you think a man who has consistently tried to cleanse the organ stables, you know, will now suddenly in 2025 turn against an ethnic group? Now, he said something. The first press conference he addressed when they talk about the technical error, he said that it had to do with some form of negligence by some JAMB staff. Which the
spokesperson of JAMB called it sabotage.
Yes, that's where I'm going. I think it might be sabotage. You know, the sabotage, yes, it's likely to be sabotage. Because, you know, before this time, in fact, before this time, we've been hearing people from the Southeast celebrate the high performance of their children in the UTME. Still under the watch of this man. Now, so why would the man now suddenly turn against an ethnic group or a region? And don't forget also that Lagos is affected. The last time I checked, somebody even came up and said, look, it's the Igbos in Lagos. I wonder, are you telling me that JAMB is singling out the Uches and the Ahmadis and the Mekas and leaving out the Shei's and the Ahmeds and all of that? The girl that committed suicide was indigenous to Ogun State. Okay? So, she wasn't Igbo.
All right.
So, I think that we should commend. I think while we are not excusing the fact that what happened, we should commend Oloyede for doing what he has done. And then, investigation must be carried out. And heads have to roll. Those who were negligent, those who are incompetent, those who showed ineptitude, should be made to face the wrath of the law.
Perhaps an independent, forensic order. But how do you respond, to the JAMB Registrar when
my notes are full,
when he said the whole situation was not due to incompetence or even, ethnic bias? How do you respond to that?
I think that is strong, because I'm always very careful to dabble into ethnic issues because of the sensibility. Ethnic issue, religious issues, I'm not very good at it. However, because it's in the public space, and the narrative has to be guided and be corrected, I'm compelled to speak. Do you understand? And he has done a very good job with all the data that he has reeled out. I used to be very envious of Professor Oloyede as a person.
Right
when
from
he was
the
in
VC.
Unilorry.
Exactly.
Because I was like, what kind of a human being is this? Some of us are at home, and somebody is making Unilorry move on. So we're so
without
jealous.
going on strike, that
Do you understand?
Exactly.
I didn't remember whether he's a Muslim or is this. I was attracted by his diligence, his uniqueness. This man, they should go and read about him. This man has embarrassed fellow religious adherents, you understand, who were messing up with the offering in mosques, and he exposed them. People should please, I beg them, you understand, drop this ethnic coloration to this narrative. It's sickening. Do you understand? Even when people went as far as even citing Mesoma, who admitted. You understand? And the person who still emerged as the best student is still from the Southeast. Maybe it's, I'm not sure whether it's South, but bottom line is he's not from his tribe. Do you understand? This person was even celebrated on Journalist Hangout.
Yeah.
You understand? So the result has no name, it has nothing, it has to do with how good you are. So I am, you know, for me, look at this one now. Though I disagree with one or two statements which I will mention. He said, regardless of the reasons for their absence, that is very international. They have opportunity of writing again. This is somebody who is making every effort to correct the wrongs that was noticed, that he admitted. Kudos to parents who cried out. We gave this platform for many of them. They cried out. They were so sure of their children. That's another good thing about parents, you know. They were so sure. I know my son, I know my daughter, you know, and they were justified at the end of the day. And the man did not continue arguing. He said, I am sorry. He admitted. I take responsibility.
That is
so,
which is very rare.
Exactly.
Very
so
rare.
For me, I beg. Please, my brothers, wherever you are, my sisters, let us not give ethnic coloration to what happened. Let's blame whatever went wrong. Let us correct it. I also have issues with JAMB rushing with the results. I totally agree with him that this exam has to be written at this period. But please take your time, check it before results are released.
Absolutely.
That's why I disagree with you.
Well, wow, how time flies when we talk Nigeria. But anyway, thank you so much, Paul Dada. Appreciate you for coming up. Journalist Hangout. Appreciate it. Kaidi Oladendi.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate you as always. Thank you so much for doing this. And also to the gentlemen and ladies in the back room, you know, doing the needful for us to have a good show. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria. And coming up next is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening.